All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real issues and real music tied in there as well, and doing it in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me. So I figured it's a slow news day, so I'm reliving 2021 based on a headline that came out earlier this week. And here it is. 1 in 4 who had taken the safe and effective Pfizer product experienced unintended immune response. This comes from Yahoo News. So this isn't from some conspiracy theory website. It comes from Yahoo News. Let's go back to 2021, shall we? So here are the bands requiring fans to provide a QR code or a negative test to attend their shows. Just a short list, actually, here that they put out there. Maroon 5, the band Fish, Dead and Company, of course, The Killers, ironic name for a band that is requiring a QR code, and a negative diagnostic test within 48 hours prior to entry. So you have to have that test kit handy at all times. Jason Isbell, the Foo Fighters, of course, which held a concert for only fully CVS attendees in New York City in June. They'll require proof of the thing, and I mean the CVS thing, or a negative test for admission to upcoming shows. Bonnaroo, which is a 4-day event in Tennessee in the summer of 2021 in Milwaukee, is also requiring proof that you went to CVS or got a negative test result. What else here? Oh, this is interesting. Beginning in early October, this was again in 2021, Live Nation's fully owned and operated venues and festivals in the United States will be requiring that all artists and fans show proof that they went to CVS or a negative test where permitted by law. So in other words, if your state didn't require you to go to CVS, they still want a negative test. The company's employees will also need to be fully CVS'd in order to work at or visit their events, venues, or offices. Isn't that pleasant? Well, I'm just going for a visit. Well, where's your QR code? QR codes are going to be your ticket back to shows as of October 4th. We will be following the model that's Live Nation, developed for Lollapalooza, and requiring this for artists, fans, employees at Live Nation venues and festivals everywhere possible in the U.S. This according to Michael Rapino, the CEO of Live Nation Entertainment. So there you go. Great memories back in 2021. This is also another portion of the article where they talk about the Eagles announced that they will have this concert in Seattle and will only admit fully CVS attendees. By the way, that means that if there was an initial CVS protocol and there was an additional one on top of that, that in order to be fully CVS'd, you would need 2, possibly 3 trips to that wonderful drugstore in order to consider yourself eligible to go see the Eagles. Finally, this was one of my favorite ones. The Kansas City Health Department set up a mobile clinic at a Garth Brooks concert in Kansas City, and fans were offered a chance to get upgraded floor seats if they were to visit the clinic. But only 35 of the more than 70,000 people took advantage of the offer. I love the wording. How come so few people took advantage? That should have been the story. But instead, they're lamenting the fact that only 35 people decided that they were going to go to the clinic. Yeah, honey, before you go in and see Garth Brooks, you want to go into the tent here and roll up your sleeve. And here's the results of rolling up your sleeve here. So 1 in 4 had an unintended immune response. This is just crazy. More than a quarter of the people who took the mRNA, wonderful, safe, and effective product, got an unintended immune response, which created a glitch in the way that this wonderful, safe, and effective product was interpreted by the body, meaning your body, according to a study. I love, and here's where they're going to do a little CYA activity. No adverse effects were created by the error. None. Zero. Not one, according to data. What kind of data? But Cambridge scientists found that such products were not perfect and sometimes led to nonsense proteins being made instead of the desired spike, which mimics infection and leads to antibody production. So if you thought all this stuff was nonsense to begin with, it led to nonsense proteins being made. These wonderful, safe, and effective products, such as the ones created by Moderna and Pfizer, use a string of genetic material to tell the body to create a specific protein that safely imitates an infection. Yeah, it sounds really safe. Well, Dave, this is how these things have worked for decades now. Yeah, I think this is a little bit different when you're talking about a string of genetic material telling your body to do things. Just putting it out there. Research in the field spanning decades had been really slow on this particular issue. It often stalled because that wonderful string of genetic material itself is often attacked by the body as a foreign invader. See, folks, God knew what he was doing, all right? This stuff gets in there. Your body says, hey, this isn't supposed to be in there. What's going on? Let's attack it. So your body is way smarter than people give it credit for. In 2023, the Nobel Prize for Medicine went to a pair of scientists who had spent years working to fix the problem. It was done by taking one of these stringy genetic things, all right, and swapping it with a synthetic alternative. Oh, it's just, they're trying to fool the body into not attacking this. And the body knows it should attack it. This breakthrough, they're calling it a breakthrough, allowed scientists to create proteins in the body without the immune system attacking it. It allows for quick and precise and highly effective products, which is now the backbone of the CVS protocol response. So by paragraph 4 or 5, they're telling you that, hey, even though these are unintended consequences in 25% of the people, that we've fixed it. We've got synthetic material that we've substituted for the genetic material. This is a little bit confusing. You know, one thing you ought to do when you have this discussion with somebody is say, do you know what's in this stuff? And they'll go, no, but I trust it. Really? Really? It sounds like a religion, because if you know and trust something without evidence, see, there's evidence in the Bible, so I can look to that evidence. I can read about it. I can read the eyewitness accounts and see how effective those teachings have been for 2,000 years. But with this, you look at it and you just say, hey, so would you put this stringy material, would you let them just shoot you up with that stuff? Oh, yeah, because there's no other way. This is, the worst thing that's ever happened to humanity. And if we don't do this, the end result will be mass casualties. And I'm like, well, didn't we have that anyway at the beginning? And then they figured out, you got some old people over here, and maybe those people need special attention, and maybe there is a way to help them without the stringy genetic material. There's got to be some other way to do this, right? But apparently there is no other way, and they just hold the line because these companies have so much money that they can convince people over at Yahoo News, look, yeah, you can put this headline out there, but then in paragraph 2 say, yeah, it created a glitch, but we fixed it. We've already got the fix for the glitch. So no need to worry. Everything's fine. Just okay. Look, whatever happened to sort of erring on the safe side, the side of caution, like, hey, I'm really not too sure about this. I'll take my chances. I'll grab some sunlight, maybe some vitamin D. Maybe I'll change my diet a little bit. Maybe I won't go see the Eagles in concert. It's really not that important for me. And Garth Brooks, you know, brother, those floor seats would have been great so I could hear you talking about how great President Biden is, but I've decided, you know, I don't really need to go to the Garth Brooks show. How's that? I liked Garth Brooks back in the 90s. I just don't know what happened to that guy. So in any event, at least be neutral. If you're going to be political, say that politicians should work together to fix problems, right? But nobody does that. They just take a side, and it's part of a tribe. And if you're a member of that tribe, then you're expected to behave in a certain way and say certain things. But they can't even do that. You know, I'm getting back to the point where maybe everybody should just stay out of it because it's all a grift. Everybody wants to make money off of their team. You know, it's like sports betting, you know, except you're doing it in politics. And this is why so many normie type people out there, they just want to live their lives and they really don't care. So in this case, though, these guys who owe the entire planet an apology for their safe and effective nightmare that they sprung upon everybody, they're just going to roll on like nothing ever happened. They're going to pretend that this article didn't come out, and they're going to tell you, you know, next week there's another variant, the XB-3.7, which is an offshoot of the last variant. They're going to tell you they've got a new safe and effective product with the new stringy material that they have created, which fixed the problem in the old one. And they're going to say, please, you got to go out and do this. If you got a 6-month-old baby, bring the baby in. For crying out loud, if you've got a pet, your pets all need to be shot up with this stuff. So I know people don't agree with me on this, right? It's just, you know, I like you until you start talking about this stuff. You know, can you just stick to talking about Lou Graham or something? I mean, there's got to be some news. There really isn't a lot of news. Foreigner, I did the video. It didn't have good audio, so I pulled it down. Yeah, Foreigner is going to keep touring. They're not quitting. They say they're not going to do 9 months a year, but, you know, that's the big news from today. They'll probably do 5 months a year and say, look, we didn't say we'd not tour. We just said we're not going to do 9 months a year, and that's basically the gist of what they're telling people now. That's exciting, but this issue here to me, far more important, and people really need to not do this again. That's the whole point of everything. You hear of some guy collapsing at 45 with no cause of death given. I don't know. Could be anything, right? Could be just natural causes. Was his time. We shouldn't try to figure out why that's happening. We should just acknowledge that it happened and move on to the next one, which will probably happen the following day. All right, so that's my video on this topic. And again, Yahoo News, go look it up. You think I'm making this stuff up? Now you're going to read the article and say, it's okay because they fixed it. They fixed it. It's in everybody who took it originally. So how do you fix it? You keep giving them more of these things? That's going to fix it? I don't know. The definition of insanity in 3D. That's what this is. All right? It's 3D insanity. You heard it here first. Nobody's ever said it like that. God bless everyone. Please pray for peace. Please pray for politics where people actually get things done for the country rather than themselves and for their wallets. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this, at least for now.